So, for everyone who is wondering why this has been such a difficult decision, it's because I know the full cost of shutting our schools. I know all of the negative ramifications of this decision, and it's very painful. It's going to be very difficult for a lot of families. And so this is a decision that I have taken with no joy whatsoever, with a lot of pain, honestly, because it's something I could not in a million years have imagined having to do. But we are dealing with a challenge and a crisis that we have never seen in our lifetimes, and it has only just begun. So I regret to have to announce that as of tomorrow, our public schools will be closed. In other words, to all parents who are hearing this now, there is no school tomorrow, and we will be suspending our public schools until after the spring vacation.
It was Friday. De Blasio said, for sure, 100%, we are not closing schools. We have to stay open for our students. We had a meeting with parents. Don't worry, we will be back on Monday. They made us have a meeting. They made us tell parents this. I go to Newport, everybody there is a teacher, and they're like, oh, you know, we've been teaching from home for 2 weeks, a month, this month, all this stuff in Newport, Rhode Island. Things were kind of shut down there at this point. So it was like the last weekend before things would shut. And I'm driving and I'm like, okay, I have work Monday, and you know, Sunday evening, I'm driving home, and someone calls me from Newport that I was with, who was driving home, and said, oh, de Blasio just announced on the news that you guys are not coming back. So I said, what? I'm like, that is such a lie. There's no way my superintendent would have told me. I'm checking my emails, nothing. But de Blasio, there he was on the news telling the whole city that we were not coming back. Oh, the calls that I was getting from teachers, from, you know, parents, the dojos, the everything. I'm like, oh my God, they must think we knew. So now I can't go against my boss and say, you never told us. He's the mayor. I can't go against the chancellor. So I'm like, oh, well, you know what? It was a miscommunication. You know, we're all the principals are like, I don't know, what do we say? So we just kind of played along and did the best we could and said, you know, we're going to do what we can. The good thing with all the shutting down outside the city is for the 2 weeks prior, I said to my staff, we're a unique school, and I can share more about that, in that we had no Wi-Fi because we don't have enough electricity coming into our school to support multiple devices, and we had a fire. I mean, there's a whole many different things that we didn't have. So we were under a project to get Wi-Fi and electricity. So we didn't have the level of technology that other schools do have. So but what we did have is this method of communication with parents. So 2 weeks prior, we had 40% parents on Class Dojo. By the time that Friday came, we were in the 90s for percentage of parents on Dojo, because we did like an assembly line of calling parents. I said, if we shut down, we need a way to talk to these parents, because phone numbers don't work and people don't use phones that way, right? They text. So we need Class Dojo. We need every parent on. I think we were at like 94% families on Dojo by that Friday. Thank goodness. Because what we ended up doing is, so that was the moment, right? And that was just like, oh my God. And then the city started slamming us with emails like, you got to get devices to kids. Like, I mean, things that we just were like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, where do we get devices? What are you saying? And we were just, we didn't know what to do. And so I think they made the teachers come back for 3 days, which is when all those teachers got sick, not mine, but across the city. We came back, we didn't know what to do. We're like, do we go near each other? Do we not? We're in the cafeteria, we're trying to set up Google. We already had Google, thank God, in my school for teachers. We already had an amazing Google Drive. Everything was on the drive. So now we had to figure out how to expand this to children. We got Google Enterprise, we got a parachute umbrella. I don't know what the heck they called it, but everybody got under this Google domain. Thankfully, we had that through this partnership that we work with. All of our technology stuff was through them. So they helped us populate Google. We then had to get our kids, grades K to 5, to figure this out. So that was 2 weeks of work, handing out iPads, giving out every single supply. We literally gave out every supply that we had. And we didn't have a pencil, crayon. We made baggies. Within 2 weeks, we gave every single kid in our school, 400 kids, a baggie of all supplies, colored paper, line paper. We didn't know how long we'd be out. We're like, if we come back, we'll just order more. And that was it. We took 2 weeks, and we just continuously supplied the kids with what they needed, and then we went home, and that was it.
And that was it.